You ever notice how some hugs linger just a little too long, and it feels like suddenly she's speaking without saying a word? Most men miss it. They shrug it off as nothing, a simple gesture. But the truth is, in that moment, she's revealing a part of herself she's usually afraid to share. Hugs aren't just hugs, they're windows. And if you're paying attention, you'll see exactly what she's feeling. There's a difference between a polite hug and a meaningful hug. A polite hug is brief, almost mechanical. She steps in, pats your back, maybe even pulls away quickly. That's social conditioning, that's safe. But a meaningful hug, that one lingers. The arms wrap a little tighter. The body leans in just a little more than necessary. It's her unspoken truth spilling out. A woman doesn't hold on longer than usual without reason. She's communicating something she can't or won't say in words. Think about this. Why does she hug you differently from others? Why does the same woman hug her friends one way and you another? It's not about etiquette. It's not about politeness. It's about chemistry, comfort, and subconscious attraction. When she presses into you a moment longer, it's because she's measuring safety, connection, and desire. Her subconscious mind calculates it all in a heartbeat, while your conscious mind barely notices. Most men are blind to it, trapped in the illusion that words are the only form of communication, but her body is speaking in volumes. You need to understand the subtlety of proximity in a hug. When her chest leans against yours, when her hands rest on your back instead of your shoulders, it's an instinctive move. She's signaling trust, curiosity, and perhaps longing. Her body is telling a story she can't voice out loud, sometimes because society has taught her to hide it, sometimes because she's testing if you can see past the surface. And the crazy part is, she's watching you just as closely. Your reaction in that hug determines whether she'll open up more or retreat into safe distance next time. Here's where most men fail. They overthink, or worse, underthink. They take the hug at face value, shrug it off, and continue as if nothing happened. But a hug is never meaningless. Every second she holds on longer, every subtle change in her posture, every millisecond of hesitation or urgency, these are clues. Psychological studies show that women reveal emotional truth in their touch far more honestly than in their speech. It's primal, it's raw, and if you learn to read it, you can decode layers of attraction, vulnerability, and trust she'll never voice aloud. Most men never notice because they don't slow down. They rush the moment, waiting for words, waiting for declarations. But the truth is hiding in her embrace. And here's a secret. The woman who hugs you longer than usual is testing whether you can see her, whether you can recognize her unspoken need for connection. If you pay attention, respond with presence, and mirror that honesty back, you're already steps ahead of every other man she meets. A hug isn't just about warmth or comfort, it's a mirror of her inner world. When she holds you longer than usual, it's her way of testing the space between you. She's assessing whether you notice her subtle signals, whether you respect her vulnerability, whether you can handle intimacy without needing words. Most men miss this entirely because they've been conditioned to chase overt signs, texts, calls, declarations, ignoring the silent language that truly drives attraction. Women are wired to communicate emotionally first and verbally second. Her hug is a language older than words, older than conscious thought. In that embrace, she is exposing herself in a way that requires courage. Her heart is saying, "I trust you," even if her lips remain silent. And the depth of her trust is measured in milliseconds, the quick release of a polite hug versus the lingering embrace that leaves traces on your chest. Every second counts. Every subtle shift in posture or pressure carries meaning. Notice her hands. Are they brushing your back lightly or gripping as if holding on to something she can't voice? That difference is huge. A light touch may communicate affection or comfort. A firm, lingering hold communicates need, desire, even curiosity about your reaction. Her body is testing yours. Are you tense or relaxed, present or distracted, confident or unsure? Your response in these micro moments is what she's studying. She's not just hugging you, she's observing your energy, your awareness, and your capacity to hold space for her emotions. Here's another truth most men never realize. She's not thinking in logic when she hugs. She's feeling in patterns. Her subconscious calculates trust, safety, and attraction within seconds. When she lingers, it's because your presence makes her feel seen. It's not about your words, your gestures, or even your intentions. It's about your energy matching hers. If you recoil, if you rush away, if you fail to engage on that unspoken level, the connection dies in that very moment. But if you lean in, mirror her pace, and meet her subtle cues, something extraordinary happens. She relaxes, opens further, and her trust deepens. Many men panic here, overanalyzing. Why is she holding me? Does she like me? What does this mean? You have to strip all that away. This is not a test of your intellect. It's a test of presence. Being present is the rare skill that women instinctively sense. It's what separates the man she hugs from the men she merely tolerates. Presence communicates more than words ever could. It says, I see you, I feel you, I understand without needing explanations. If you learn to read her embrace like a book, you start seeing patterns. How she approaches, the timing of her touch, the subtle shifts in posture, they all tell a story. And that story is far more honest than anything she could articulate. Most men will never notice because they're too busy looking for obvious signals. But you're learning the language that most ignore, the one that builds true emotional intimacy, attraction, and connection. Now, let's get to the part most men never learn: how to respond when she hugs you longer than usual. This is where the moment shifts from ordinary to unforgettable. Most men panic. They pull away, laugh it off, or fail to acknowledge the emotional weight she's offering. But if you respond correctly, you're doing more than hugging back. You're creating a bond that words could never achieve. First, understand the power of stillness. When she leans into you, linger with her. Don't rush. Don't check your phone. Don't think about what comes next. Presence is magnetic. It's what signals to her subconscious mind that she can trust you with this rare glimpse of her emotional core. A hug is not just skin on skin, it's a test of your ability to hold emotional space. If you're tense, she will feel it. If you're distracted, she will pull back. But if you meet her energy calmly and steadily, the hug transforms from a gesture into a silent conversation. Next, use subtle mirroring. Her body tells you exactly what she wants. If her arms tighten, yours can tighten in response, not aggressively, but to match her rhythm. If she leans forward slightly, adjust naturally to maintain connection. This isn't manipulation, it's psychology. Mirroring signals empathy, attunement, and presence. It communicates without words. I understand you. I'm with you. Most men never realize that micro-adjustments in a hug create the invisible thread that pulls her emotionally closer. Pay attention to timing. When she's ready to release, don't pull away instantly. Let the moment linger a fraction longer than usual, just enough to signal you're conscious of her vulnerability and appreciative of the trust she's offering. Too long and it becomes awkward. Too short and it becomes dismissive. There's a balance, and learning it comes from observation and intuition. She's reading you as closely as you're reading her, so every second matters. Your face and eyes matter more than your arms. Women are masters at sensing authenticity through micro-expressions. When she hugs you, soften your gaze, relax your jaw, and meet her energy calmly. Your subtle facial cues reinforce safety, comfort, and presence. This is what turns a hug from simple touch into emotional connection. When done right, she feels seen in ways words could never deliver. She will remember this hug long after it ends because it is rare to find a man who can truly hold her in both body and energy. Finally, understand that this moment is an invitation. A hug that lingers longer than usual isn't casual. It's a window into her mind, a test of your awareness and presence. Respond with care, attentiveness, and authenticity. Don't overthink it. Don't play games. Simply align your energy with hers. That's the moment when attraction, trust, and emotional intimacy converge. And if you can master this, you're no longer just another man in her life. You become someone she subconsciously seeks out, the kind of presence most men will never even notice. By now, you should understand that a hug isn't just a hug. It's a silent message, a test, and sometimes even a confession, all wrapped in a simple, fleeting moment. The woman who holds you longer than usual is revealing layers of herself most men will never see. And this is the truth. How you respond in these moments shapes how she perceives you, how she connects with you, and ultimately, how deep her trust and attraction will go. Think of it like this. Every lingering hug is a psychological fingerprint. She's exposing vulnerability, curiosity, and desire all at once. And here's the catch. Most men treat it as casual. They fail to see that the hug is a moment loaded with opportunity, a chance to step into emotional intelligence that most men never even attempt. Your reaction, your presence, your subtle choices during those seconds are what she remembers far longer than anything she says out loud. Here's a hard truth. Words are easy, but presence is rare. Any man can say the right thing or send a thoughtful text, but holding space for a woman's emotions in the moment, matching her rhythm, honoring her trust, that's what creates real connection. That's what transforms a simple gesture into intimacy. When she feels seen and safe in your embrace, her subconscious mind begins to associate you with trust, comfort, and even longing. This is how attraction grows silently, powerfully, without a single word. And it doesn't stop at attraction. Understanding this language of touch builds emotional intelligence. It trains you to notice the subtle signals she gives in conversation, in her tone, in her presence. You begin to see the hidden patterns in her behavior, the cues that most men misread or ignore entirely. That's where mastery comes in, not just noticing the hug, but recognizing the meaning behind it, responding authentically, and creating a bond that becomes almost unspoken. But here's the thing, most men never pause. They rush, they joke, they dismiss the depth of the moment, and that's why so many relationships struggle with emotional distance. If you slow down, if you pay attention, if you honor her vulnerability, you step into a level of connection that feels rare, even magical. And she notices, even if she never admits it, even if she never says a word about it. Her subconscious is recording it. Her heart remembers it. So here's what I want you to do. The next time a woman hugs you longer than usual, stop rushing. Breathe. Feel her energy. Match her rhythm. Let the seconds stretch just enough to communicate that you see her, that you respect her, that you understand her without needing words. This is the kind of awareness that most men will never develop. And the rewards, they aren't just emotional, they're transformative. You become a man who notices, who responds, and who connects on a level most men can only dream about. Now think about this personally. The next time someone hugs you longer than usual, how will you respond? Will you notice? Will you honor it? Or will it slip by unnoticed? Write your answer in the comments. And if you found this insight valuable, like this video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to understand this unspoken language of connection. Because mastering this simple truth changes everything.